Hello and welcome to Ignite Your Sexuality with me, Sarah Rose Bright, where I'm sharing videos full of amazing and inspiring practical tips to support you to ignite your sexuality and have more better sex, pleasure, and intimacy in your life. And this video, I'm going to share a very common myth of what successful sex should look like and what in fact is actually true. So if you're curious, then stay tuned. So the myth is that it's a very deep belief in our culture that successful sex should somehow culminate in some form of penetration, whether that's with a penis, whether it's with a dildo or fingers, and that the penetration then there should be some form of climax, orgasm, ejaculation. And if not, then somehow you failed or it's been a failure. And this model is so deeply ingrained, and it's a sort of this ABC model, like if it's solo sex, it's often straight for the genitals to an orgasm. If it's partnered, it's often starts with kissing. Then if it's it might be breasts, genitals, penetration. Now, when people often talk to me about this, they come to me saying that sex is boring, it's routine, it feels mechanical, functional. These are the sort of words I commonly hear. And like guaranteed, this will be playing a part in it somewhere. And so it's not that this type of sex is wrong. It can be greatly enjoyable to have an experience of just going for the goal and really enjoying it, going for orgasm. But it's when it's the only way that sex is experienced that it becomes very, very limiting. And people think that there's something wrong with them because they're not enjoying sex, but it's often they're trying to enjoy this model all the time because people will often think this is the way sex should look all the time. But actually, there's nothing wrong with them. It's a type of sex that they're trying to shoehorn themselves into. So the truth is that great sex and successful sex is for you to define, and it looks like however you would like it to look. And we only can discover that when we let go of sex having to look a certain way. So I'm going to share with you 2 key tips to start to explore this in your life, because sex is, so first of all, let me start with the tips. So first of all, to redefine sex as any activity that is sexy, pleasurable, and enjoyable to you. So that might or might not include penetration, but it could include many things. And, sex is lifelong learning. So it's really great to let go of how you think sex should look and to explore what really turns you on, what really lights you up, what you're curious about, what arouses you. So that's number one. And secondly, is to create practice time to explore that. Because if sex is lifelong learning, if you're learning to play a musical instrument, you create time to just practice, to explore, to make mistakes, and often in those mistakes is where the great learning is happening because you discover something new. There's no such thing really as a mistake in that mindset. So creating practice time to explore. And then the third one is if you're going for having penetration in the mix, is rather than seeing penetration as just something that is the main event that you then go straight for an orgasm or for that goal, is experiment with it in different ways. I would actually say experiment with not having any penetration in a sexual encounter and see what that feels and looks like, just to experiment. I would say that when you're going for having penetration also is to take away the goal, just to explore penetration without heading for the goal. So it might be that you just slow down, that you savor it rather than rushing through. You might go for the goal at some point, but you've created time to explore something different. Also, to have a go at having penetration where you don't have an orgasm or an ejaculation and see what happens. People sometimes think the world's going to end if they don't. But there's whole practices in traditions like Tantra and things where where there's no ejaculation, no orgasm, for all sorts of different reasons, which is worth exploring. But it's not for everybody. But actually, just having time where you don't have the pressure of that or the focus of that, because if you are going for the goal of orgasm every time, it's like you're putting set coordinates in the sat nav to always get to the same destination, and you never veer off that path, and that's why it becomes boring. You don't discover new things and new possibilities. So by having less of a focus on this as a goal, by having times where you explore penetration without that goal, whether even if it's just for an amount of time, you start to experience new things and new patterns start to emerge, new possibilities start to emerge. So this can be a real game changer. Clients regularly share this with me, but it can feel very strange at first. It can feel like people have said to me, what's the point in that? But then I encourage you to go and explore it. And it may feel odd at first, it may feel frustrating, but what I find is that over time, new ways start to open up, new possibilities start to open up. And people regularly report back to me that just letting go of that myth itself can be the game changer, that sex doesn't have to look a certain way. I had a client the other day saying, because she really thought successful sex, she needed to have an orgasm every time. And just that alone, she said, enabled her to relax in a whole different way during her sexual experience. And she said to me, was telling all my friends that it's okay not to orgasm when she had penetrative sex. So I hope there's something in this for you. If you've enjoyed this, please like it, please share it, please comment below. Do sign up to my YouTube channel where I'm going to be regularly sharing more of these videos, and do sign up to my newsletter for some other content, and there's a link below for you to do that and a free gift there for you. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your day.